Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Hello and welcome. Take it from the Iron Woman. Today we have Gemi from Indonesia with us. She lives in North Carolina and we want to hear from her. Gemi, thank you so much for being a guest with us. Who is
Thank you so
Gemi, who is
much.
on our show tonight?
I'm Gemi Hartojo, and I am a marketing technologist, and I am the CEO and founder of Norbiz, a marketing strategy and consulting company here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Apex, North Carolina area. I have a diverse team who brings a diverse set of work sets, as well as a diverse, ethnic background as well. I help businesses create marketing strategy automations so that they can focus on the stuff that they love, take the minutia of marketing out of their day. But I also help businesses get to the point of being able to use and understand and use technology as well. So we help with creating a growth mindset in being able to, use it and accept it, right? So that's just a little bit of me in a nutshell. I have over 25 years of experience in marketing. I've worked all over the globe. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies, with large brands, and I'm a marketer at heart, a mom of two big boys now. I believe in learning. So here I am.
That sounds interesting. I think everybody needs a little bit of you. I know we spoke before, and the question that I would like to know is like, who is a typical, or how does a typical marketer look like? I think everybody has a different picture of a marketer.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. One of the things that I've been thinking about and I faced myself is that although I have worked around the globe and as a Muslim woman, I really haven't had a lot of personal problems. I have held high positions and have run global marketing campaigns, both traditional and interactive or online marketing. And as well as building SaaS platforms. But I find that there is, coming into my own consultancy, I find that there's a lot of sort of stereotypical perception of what a marketer should look like. And before even trying to engage, there is this sort of judgment, play that happens when trying to engage. So in a way, I'm kind of trying to break that stereotype. And through talking to you and talking to and in connecting with other professionals in different fields, I'd like people to know that it's important to allow listening. Like we should listen to other people first, give people a chance to listen to what they say, especially in a world that has digital disruption is like the main focus today, and there's so much change happening. I don't think and I strongly feel that it's not business as usual. I feel that having those different perspectives actually allow for a company or a strategy or a marketing plan to really be flexible and being able to address the ever-changing needs in the market today.
Yeah, and there's many changes. And in a way, when I work with people in the marketing field, I feel like when you're a smaller company, you might even have a bigger impact because you can be more flexible and you can tailor it to the client's needs.
Yes.
And you said you have global experience. And I think we two have many things in common. Tell us a little bit about your global experience and where are the bridges that you and I have built so far?
Well, I have worked all around the globe. I actually my first job was out in Indonesia. I was with Ogilvy and Mather,
Mhm,
and I managed all of the Nestle brands for the Asia
mhm,
Pacific. I then, returned to the United States and worked with American Online, USA Today,
mhm,
ExxonMobil. It's been quite the journey,
mhm,
and I think I had mentioned. I think the biggest, I guess, challenge is not really sort of the work itself. I think the work overall is the same, but what's really strikingly different is the cultures, right?
mhm,
Where the cultures between the United States and international waters or international,
mhm,
and I've worked with Canada and Singapore and Hong Kong and Malaysia. I feel that the biggest difference is the acceptance and
mhm,
the accommodation at the personal level, right? At the
mhm.
day-to-day level. I'm not talking about organizational like acceptance because that's sort of like, policy, but
Yeah.
I'm really talking about the sort of day-to-day. And one thing that, as an example, right, drinking in the United States, and I'm as a Muslim woman, I don't drink, but that's sort of a prevalent way of having a meeting or
Mhm,
running, networking events, which is a little bit, I guess, difficult for me, right?
mhm,
And it's very difficult for me to be in that situation. And yet I am a marketer, and it's supposedly, or it's unspoken word that you have to be part of that culture, as opposed to in the international waters, so to speak.
mhm,
The choice of networking events isn't just drinking, right? It's more they choose a more generic activity. Let's
mhm,
go out for ice cream or go out for dessert or go out for dinner, where it's a choice, right? Where we just kind of sit down in a normal sort of, I guess, platonic, how do you say it? Not skewed to one particular activity environment. So
yeah.
I think that's a huge thing,
Mhm,
right? Because then it doesn't put anybody in a weird spot. And yet not everybody's Muslim. And I'm not, I've sat around, I grew up with people who are Buddhists and Hindus
mhm, mhm,
and Christians and Muslims, and some with no religion what have you. But there is a sort of respect, the unspoken. And I think you
mhm.
mentioned that too, right? Where you don't really have to think about it. You don't have to, it's not, you
Yeah,
don't talk about it at all. You just,
yeah,
oh, okay, yeah, we know already that these are the norms.
yeah. And probably you said you come from Indonesia. Indonesia, when I was there, I was
Mm-hmm.
amazed how diverse that
Yes.
country is, right? So every place I went, I was actually working with the SOS children villages.
Mm-hmm.
So I did
Mm-hmm.
volunteer work, I provided leadership programs, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just fantastic time to be there. For me, it was like all that inclusion. Everybody was just, there was no discussion, and
Yep.
I didn't even think. And probably in Europe, even though you have different cultures, but I think we might be maybe more used to different cultures, because in my little home country of Switzerland, we already have four different languages, four different cultures.
That's right.
You drive 2 hours and then you speak a different language.
Yes.
And when you think in the US, you drive for 5, 10 hours and it's still the same. You see the McDonald's or the,
Yes.
it's all the same, right? So
Yep. I hear you, and I think that's kind of the biggest difference and change for me,
mhm,
which is why I think I kind of find it a little bit challenging now in trying to sort of get the voice out there. And I know that there's a big push right now in the US for diversity and
mhm,
inclusion, but it's this label, right?
mhm, mhm.
There is a there it's not inborn or ingrown, where I see, I know that Switzerland, exactly, you drive 15 minutes and you're already speaking a different language. So
Yeah,
it's an automatic given that you're, oh, this is just a different way of doing or
yeah,
connecting with people, right?
yeah.
So, and the same thing with Indonesians. We have
Mhm,
such a diverse culture.
mhm,
We have people who look like myself, and then we have people who look completely. There are, like, I think in northern part of Sumatra is, you know, blue eyes.
oh,
Because
really?
yes, and then if you go all the way down to west, sorry, Papua New Guinea area,
Yeah,
and they look, African,
yes.
Aboriginals, right? So it's just
Mhm, mhm.
very. it's just very diverse, and we accept it. I mean, of course we poke fun and what have you, but I think that's
Yeah.
a great open, like, open discussion, and it's wonderful, as opposed to
Okay.
here kind of tiptoeing, and yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and I have to say, I just have one example, one of many examples in Indonesia. I was actually traveling by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me, no, in Indonesia, this nobody travels alone, so they always come in groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a orangutan resort, and there
Yes,
was
yes.
a group of 5 women, and they came in and they were giggling and laughing. And I was sitting alone at the table eating my lunch, and then they said to me, come over, you can't be alone. So this was we were meeting and laughing, and then I said goodbye to them after a day. And then all of a sudden they called me, they came to my hotel, and we went to another park, and they said, you have to come with us. So it was just, they have never met me, they didn't know me, and it was just so beautiful. And I was like, yeah, let me go. I had the time, and the time of my life, I also have to say. So I think we have to speak with our heart, and that's the way we can also do business. So probably
Yes.
in the business world it might be a little harsher. Who are your clients that you are attracting? Maybe also people who are more open, more
Mm-hmm.
diverse, more inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I have been attracting a lot of clients who are definitely open, right? One thing a lot of my clients have said to me, I say, why do you keep coming back to me? Is because we trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't sugarcoat it. You are who you are, in front of us and behind us.
Mm-hmm.
You say what you're going to do. And I guess a lot of marketers don't do that. They kind of like blow a lot of air and say, oh, we'll deliver this and do that and do this. And they don't really deliver. I can give you an example of just like recently we won a pitch, and it's actually for diversity, inclusion, and
Mm-hmm.
racial equity. We are the top two contestants out of 12. What's funny is that actually we won the bid, but the loser wants to be included on our team.
Oh.
And it's
Oh.
just not, I don't think that's quite ethical, right? Because
Uh-uh.
if we were to switch it around, let's say they were the winner, would they call us and want us to be
Mm-mm.
on their team? Probably
Mm-mm.
not. So
Oh.
so this is a clear example, where I think that there is a lack of, what's the word of awareness? Not awareness, but it's like not, maybe it is self-awareness, but it's sort of like a lack of awareness, or understanding that
Mm-hmm.
they even thought that way.
What about another word like integrity?
That's right. That's right. That's right. There's no integrity.
Right.
And I have been fighting that a little bit, but it's quite interesting, and which is why I was so glad when you asked me, like, what would I want people to know. It really goes back to that ratatouille, right? It's anybody can cook. It's not that they should, right? But give them a moment,
Yeah.
right?
And we were talking about that movie Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And for me, making a soup, everybody has their secret when they make their
Yes.
favorite soup.
Mm-hmm.
So my soup doesn't taste like your soup, and my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's or my mother's soup is even different. So I think that's a beautiful analogy to see. Like, we don't have to be a 5-star chef. I'm sure we all make perfect soups.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. And I think I kind of missed that a little bit. And your story about how the Indonesian ladies like just
Mhm.
included you.
Yeah.
That's our typical way. We would never, like, I would be working in the office late. My boss would not go home until I went home.
Mm.
And my
Wow.
team would say, "Oh, you're still in the office? Okay, we're just gonna stay with you. Hey, do you want something to eat? Can we bring you something to eat?" And this support and such camaraderie
Yeah.
is what I really miss. I really miss that, because
Mm.
that's unfortunate.
Well, I think, Gemi, we need to create that, and you can be
Yes,
the woman leading that. And
I hope so.
congratulations that you won that pitch. So maybe you have a voice there. We need more women like you to change the world. And we just heard from Finland that they elected very young prime minister. So I think
Very
we're in a
proud.
good, very proud of to hear that. many big steps to take. But thank you so much for being with us. Love to hear your story, and I feel so connected to you with the things we have in common. Thank you so much. This was
You're
really
welcome.
interesting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan.
What an inspiration to hear from Gemi, working around the world, fighting in diversity and inclusion. And what about the ice cream? What a cool idea. Next week we hear more about her insights for the marketing in the new decade. Check us every Monday. We'll have a new episode. Leave a comment. We love to hear from you. Thank you for listening.